Okay, so what's up, guys? Welcome to PCP. I'm sure you guys are super surprised. We don't have Jay and Team 1UP here. They're doing some like really dope install for this big conference, and then Pat's out being funny somewhere. I don't know what he's doing, but it's going to be the StatikLink Moptop Takeover of PCP. It's probably going to be your favorite episode because we're your favorite hosts.
Of course.
I know we kind of did this last week, but I feel like we didn't do it its full justice, and I feel like me and Josh are a little bit more privy to some of the newer games that are coming out. We're going to do a full look at everything that came out on E3, the best announcements for each console.
Well, I think too, last week, all the big stuff hadn't been announced yet, right?
That's true, yeah.
So there's some new stuff that has come out that, I know that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah.
I mean, big time. I'm a big PlayStation fan. So
yeah. Little
Xbox.
did you know, not only is he an amazing producer, but also a pretty
That's right.
avid gamer.
I am.
I think that's one of the beautiful things about gaming culture today, and y'all can chime in on this how you feel, is I think that it just transcends to everybody. It's like a modern way of storytelling, and it's like almost like our new way of release. Instead of just watching a movie, you can be part of it.
Exactly. I was going to say, so I mean, we're going to talk about this a little later on, but even some of the games that we've seen this year, you see famous actors being in the video game.
And not just voicing it.
No,
but
it's like their face is
yeah.
in the video game, which is crazy. And I think there was a few games that came out that were debuted at E3. Now, this isn't obviously something that is brand new. This has been around for a while.
Absolutely.
To a certain extent. But we're getting to the point where graphics in these games are so good now that you can actually, play as these famous people.
And it looks like them, and you totally can relate and feel that.
It's crazy. So, I mean, it's just, it's amazing.
So should we start just diving in right away?
Yeah, so I think we're going to start with Xbox news.
Yeah.
I checked out some of the Microsoft stuff. Like I said, I have to admit, I'm more of a PlayStation guy.
Yeah.
I had an Xbox One for years, and then I recently switched over to PlayStation.
I was a big Xbox advocator for a long time. My first, when the Xbox, the original came out, that was one of my first modern consoles that I had, and I was always really loyal to just the Microsoft brand. I really liked what they did with the graphics. I really liked the controller, all of it. And I think one of the biggest things this year was and a lot of people were talking about just the disappointment from Xbox's rollout in general and how.
Well, I think Xbox. I think the Microsoft team basically PlayStation, Xbox. We think of the two of them being head to head, but realistically, I think they were going after different crowd types.
Absolutely.
I think Xbox is more or less saying we're going to try to target young adults or even older adults who are looking for an entire entertainment system. Because I can tell you, after owning both systems, and I'm sure we'd love to hear you guys' thoughts too. I feel like the Xbox is a better entertainment system
all
overall.
around. Yeah.
But when it comes to video games, PlayStation, it destroys it in my opinion. So I mean, I think that Xbox kind of always is the underdog when it comes to E3, the gaming world, that kind of thing. But when it comes to overall entertainment, I mean, the Xbox is better, in my opinion. I mean, the apps that are on there, just little small things like being able to listen to your you can plug your headphones into the controller and it streams the audio to the controller too.
Yeah.
You don't get that on PlayStation.
For a lot of the couples, I'm sure, with you and your fiance, it's maybe she doesn't want to hear it, you can go ahead and have your headphones plugged right in wirelessly.
Yeah, which PlayStation doesn't do that, I mean, PlayStation has its benefits too from a gaming standpoint, but, so I mean, with that being said, so I think there was a lot of pressure on Xbox, this year to kind of deliver something, and one thing that I want to talk about first, which I think is really cool, going just transitioning from we were just talking about how awesome the controller is on the Xbox.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was great that Xbox did this year, Microsoft did, was they announced an adaptive controller for people with disabilities or for people who just want to kind of customize the controller to fit their specific gaming style.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, honestly, I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm excited to see in the future for people who have maybe just degenerative muscle disorders or veterans that are really into video games who can't grab a controller or other disabilities they may have. I think it's awesome that Microsoft is doing that. And it looks like they're going to announce it's fully customizable. It's going to be $100 on the store,
which is not bad at all.
Which is not bad at all for a fully customized controller. Because remember, this isn't something that they can just mass produce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a customized controller. That's going to be ready, plug and play, good to go with the Xbox, which I think is great. It'll be interesting too to kind of see how they go about working this into different games. I'd be interested, to kind of see what that's.
Yeah, maybe they'll kind of take one from Nintendo's book and be able to have these customizable controllers that do fit better for certain types of gameplay and certain types of styles of gaming.
Sure.
What I mean? Which I think would be really awesome.
That's right. And I mean, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to say the least. Another thing that I thought was really interesting. Talk about them always being the underdog when it comes to E3. They announced that they partnered with 5 new. You scroll down a little bit. I think it's up. We got 5 new internal game studios that are going to work exclusively for Xbox, which I think is a huge announcement.
Really important.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where I think they just, they need to catch up. PlayStation is still outselling Xbox. I think Xbox gained a little bit of ground with the Xbox. What's the new one called? The 4K one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Not
sure
the S,
know,
not the 1S, but the I can't remember what it's called. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. Anyways, maybe you can look it up. That's why we have these devices that connect to the real world and we can see what they are. Ricky will look it up here quick. But they announced 5 new publishers and gaming designers that
Xbox One X.
Yeah. Okay. Is the one what?
Xbox One X is what it's called.
Well, Xbox One X. All right, I should have known that.
Yeah.
So I think they gained a lot of ground with that, and I think that'll really help out quite a bit. But these 5 new gaming studios, so we'll just rattle them off for you. So the Initiative, looks like they did the Tomb Raiders games, or some of the Tomb Raider games. We have Undead Labs, which did State of Decay 1, State of Decay 2, which were Xbox exclusive anyways.
Yeah.
Playground Games, which did the Forza series,
which is huge because Forza is a PlayStation, right? That's a PlayStation
well,
exclusive.
so I think it used to be, but then the last one they released was
on Xbox.
Xbox only.
Yeah.
So they decided to make it a full-time thing to go with Xbox, which will be interesting to see. PlayStation has Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
So Forza Horizon is kind of its competition, I guess.
Yeah.
The graphics on these car games
are insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You can get in there, drive, you look around, it looks
and
like you're
so
in
realistic
the car.
How,
it's crazy.
How all of them work, yeah.
We have Ninja Theory. I'm not really familiar with them. Oh, Devil May Cry. So that's a huge game. So they did Devil May Cry. Speaking of Devil May Cry, they actually announced a new one this year. We're not going to talk about it in today's show, but they did announce a new Devil May Cry.
I didn't even know that.
Compulsion Games, and yeah, it looks like those. So Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory, Playground Games. What was the last one up top? Go back. The Initiative. So those are the 5 new gaming studios that they partnered with, which I think it's going to be really interesting. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. Microsoft as a company has been doing amazing things, and it's more or less around this home entertainment.
Yeah.
For example, one thing I think is really cool that Microsoft does that's not really related to video games, maybe will be soon, but is the Microsoft HoloLens.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The augmented reality stuff. It'll be interesting to see if some of these partnerships.
I think that's going to be a big piece of a lot of the gaming that's going to be coming out.
Can you imagine? It's like we saw it with Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Augmented reality is here to stay. It's on the device. It's on our smartphones. It'll be interesting. Now, obviously, people are going to say, "Oh, you want to be able to carry it around. That's part of the augmented reality thing." But in the scheme of things, I think it'd be really cool to see how it can work with your house.
Absolutely.
I mean, how cool would it be you have you have to duck behind things in your living room? I mean, I'd be like a kid again.
Yeah.
It'd
be amazing.
I think it'd be really cool.
Like your Nerf guns.
Oh man, on another level. So they did announce some games we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about the exclusives first before we get to the cross-platforms or the shared platform games. They announced...
you want to cue the first clip first?
Well, I was going to say, do you want to tell them what it is first? Or you want to just let them...
Let's cue the first clip. Let's go one by one. I think this creates more prestige behind it. Let's cue clip 1.
Commander Jackson on deck. Welcome to Crackdown 3. The only game built like me. Big, beautiful, like a skyscraper, falling at your face. If you want to play on my level, follow my lead. Somebody give me my jam. There
we go. All right.
All right, so the first one is Crackdown.
So I'm not really familiar with the Crackdown games. to be honest with you guys.
I mean,
I don't really know much about it. It looks pretty cool. We're watching it right now.
Yeah, I mean, this trailer looks pretty phenomenal. We get a little bit of a delay on it. Another space age game.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a really popular thing, right now, is all these like space age, like, super high technology. To be honest with you, it kind of looks like a mixture of Fortnite. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that animation style right now is very, very popular.
Well, I get it. I get it.
So yeah.
So that was the first one. So let's cue the next clip. This one's a huge one. This one's a big one. This one's one that I'm actually excited about. This is a game that I used to play all the time. Super excited about this one.
I am super excited about this too. I think this is one of the few games of recent gaming, and I'm not as much of an avid gamer anymore, but it's one of the few games that's a story mode that I played from front to back. You know what I mean? Like, the story mode in this game is amazing.
Oh, dude.
And, I think I'm excited to see what they do with the franchise. I think, like, the last game they were trying to hit with some multiplayer stuff, which from what I understand didn't do very well. But, let's go ahead and hit the second clip.
Cue the second clip. I'm excited for this.
Something's happening to me. For months now, I've been having these dreams. Nightmares. But I think they were messages.
It's your grandmother's? There's a place.
All right. So how did you guys see Gears 3? Woo!
Woo!
Really
I know we're all
about
excited
that.
about this right now. I actually see Matt Sebastian, who joined the stream. I know Matt Sebastian, he's a big Gears of War fan. Sam from Portland, he's coming out, flying out here. I know he's a big video game head as well. Thank you. But I mean, this game, I'm really excited to see how they develop
first
the
of
story
all,
more.
we're talking an apocalyptic world. I can't even speak. Apocalyptic world with Xbox One X graphics. Gears of War 3. I mean, come on, like. Honestly, this is one game that when I switched over to PlayStation, that I was kind of like, man, I don't know. I'm kind of upset that I'm missing this one.
Yeah.
Just because I love the franchise, I think it's really cool. I mean, I've been playing them since I think was Xbox 360 the first one. Again,
Yes.
I don't know my
Yeah,
history
I
on
think so.
that, but I've been.
That's what
I
we
had
keep
Xbox
Jay around
360.
for.
Yeah, right. That's where we could use them, right? Because I have no idea. But I know I've been playing it for a long time, and I love that game. And honestly, the multiplayer aspect, I think they have to have it now. My thing is that I kind of get a little annoyed with is where some companies or some game studios will skip the campaign option and just go straight to multiplayer.
I just really love the campaign option no matter what.
I know.
Even some of the campaigns that are lackluster, and you know what I mean? But there's something about a story mode and kind of going through that's really special for
Well,
me.
and honestly, too, some games, do you really need it? Maybe, maybe not. For example, like Battlefield.
I wish that the story mode was bigger for that. I'll be
I know.
honest.
Me too. It's funny.
Yeah.
Battlefield 1 is one of my favorite games. They announced another Battlefield. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I love that game. I still play it. Matter of fact, I was playing it before I came over here.
Nice.
And
for me,
I love that game.
I'm a big Rainbow Six fan, and I feel like I really enjoyed the story mode in a lot of the earlier games.
Well, they announced a new Division also.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that today, but they did announce a new Division game, which is going to be based in Washington, D.C. this time instead of New York City. So that'll be really interesting. So I'm really excited about that. But going back to Gears, honestly, like, it's just these games are becoming pieces of art, man. Like, literally, like it's amazing. The graphic detail, the shading, I think it was like a month ago, PlayStation announced that they started working on the PlayStation 5. Xbox also announced that they're going to be working on a new system at E3. I think to myself, like, every single time I see graphics, I remember I did this with the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
It can't get any better. PlayStation 3 can't get any better. There's no way. Xbox 360 can't get any better. There's no way. And then now we see this. It's just crazy. I can't wait to see where they go.
I think now with the 4K and 8K and like the resolutions that we're able to do,
geez.
and how we're able to multi-thread graphics and do the shading and optimize really how all of that works, it's going to hit a point soon where I think it's going to be hyper realistic. Almost like too realistic, you know what I mean? Like when you have a 4K TV where it's almost like, oh wow, I can tell that's on a soundstage.
Right.
And then I also think, and I'm hoping this with a lot of the consoles is that they become more modular, where they're able to kind of upgrade certain parts. You've seen that now with the hard drives. We're able to upgrade the hard drives and all of that. And I am kind of hoping that they make it, and they can even make it modular where it's specific to the brand. But I would like to see where you're able to upgrade certain pieces of your device to make it better for the real elite gamers who really care, so they can kind of compete more with the PC style gaming.
Sure. And I mean, I think that was the big reason that PlayStation announced this new system, is because, you know, when it came out, it was like something like an 8 teraflop processor or something ridiculous like that. Graphics card was ahead of its time at the time.
Yeah.
You know, and those things fall out of date so fast. Now we need something that's going to be able to play these new games at a level of a souped-up PC.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the expectation now, which is crazy to think about. So it would be interesting to see if in the future they make maybe instead of releasing a new version, kind of like they did with the PlayStation and then the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, and then they did Xbox, Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox X.
I think, again, going back to like maybe some of the stuff they've talked on some of the previous pop culture preservations, is what Nintendo's done is being able, and Sega did for a while, which, you know, part of that I think was their downfall. We're going to get into that next episode, was how they created these, you know, add-on devices that helped them be able to extend
Nintendo
the life.
did the same thing.
Yeah, to be able to extend the life of those consoles. You know what I mean? I think that would be really, you know, I think now, before the technology wasn't there to do that and they were too expensive add-ons, now I think to be able to create an add-on, we're able to add, you know, video RAM, or be able to add on, you know, physical RAM, or increase the processor, whatever, certain pieces of it to be able to make it to stay up to date.
They're going to have to figure out a way to do that, because the
technology is moving too fast.
Advances so fast. All right, so for the next one, let's.
I think this is one that every Xbox fan knows, and I think it's like the franchise's staple. It's their cornerstone.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and cue on clip 3.
Clip 3. Crazy.
I'll be honest, I think that the original Halo was one of the reasons I bought my first Xbox.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
I mean,
everybody was playing. Remember LAN parties?
Oh, yeah, dude. I was, I'll be honest, I was one of the super nerdy kids who 100% had those LAN parties at my house. Me and my good friend Kevin Crejon, who just got married, congrats to him. We would have those wild LAN parties where we would do these crazy big multiplayer games. The campaign for that game, flawless.
Oh, so good.
The multiplayer for that game, it was on a whole new level.
Well,
I feel like.
And also this is a time I think where these sci-fi space games weren't like as overrun as they are now.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of a newish idea. I mean, there was ones out there.
How they did it was so different.
The graphics were crazy. Yeah. Remember when that came out? How crazy the graphics are. And now we have, you know, this announcement. You know, the trailer is pretty basic, but the graphics look amazing.
Incredible.
I just can't imagine. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I thought they said that the Halo franchise was done, but
me too. I mean, they can never call it quits.
I was gonna say Xbox is like, all right, this is Microsoft. You know, this is a cash cow.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I gotta spend.
I'm interested with the trailer how they made it seem like now the Halo was Earth. You know what I mean? Like, it looked very Earth-esque.
That's true.
And I'm curious to see how the story devs into that story more. And you know what I mean? I feel like there's been this constant back and forth of the aliens invading, and then us invading the aliens, and all this back and forth, and you know how that goes. I'm curious to see how they build on the story mode, and if the story mode will, you know, be as good as the first games. Because I feel like they've teeter-tottered. You know what I mean? The story mode has been good and bad in some of the versions of it. You know, and I'm hoping that they kind of dive more into the story mode with that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a cash cow for them. Whatever direction it goes, you know, it's going to sell. I mean, for crying out loud, I mean, Cortana was part of that, and Cortana's now part of the Microsoft Windows operating system.
It's such a big part of their brand.
So it's a huge part of their brand. Last thing I want to talk about before we move on from Xbox, which is crazy. Out of all the games that came out of E3, one of my favorite games that I ever played for Xbox, and one of the games I'm going to miss, is one of the most basic games, but it's so much fun.
It's just so cleverly made.
Cuphead.
Oh my God.
If any of you guys know about Cuphead, Cuphead is such a fun game. It's great. I love it. I miss it. I wish I had for my PlayStation. But the first Cuphead was an Xbox exclusive. So as we were putting together the show today, I went on Microsoft's site and they announced Cuphead 2, which is already awesome. I love how it's like 1950s. It kind of looks like a cartoon. The graphics because of that are like
it's
really
insanely
crazy.
hard.
Oh, it's insanely hard. It'll piss you off. It makes you mad. But it's such a fun game. But the funny thing about that is I noticed today on the Xbox website that it's listed as a non-exclusive. So I wonder if that means it's coming to PlayStation. I don't know. That'd be
a huge break for them.
Oh, dude. It was like $20 on the App Store. It was crazy. The game was so much fun. It reminded me of like like Mario.
Yeah.
Like you ran through a world that was two-dimensional. You know what I mean? And you faced, you had to jump and hop on enemies to kill them. Or
I think it was a
knock
big
them off the
nostalgia
map.
game. You know what I mean?
Everything from the way it looked to the way it played. It was a lot of fun, and I love the game. So I'm excited that they have a Cuphead 2. I think the game did a lot better than what they wanted. Matter of fact, I remember coming when it first came out. I came to a party here at Super Chief, and they had it out there.
Oh, we have it out every. So on Tuesdays here, if you guys are in the New York area, 1628 Jefferson Avenue, we have a game night, and I will guarantee you, every single Tuesday night,
it's crazy.
There will be a Cuphead station set up. We have a ton of Xboxes set up, a ton of PlayStations. We have retro games.
You play Mortal Kombat
in
Mortal Kombat or
on a projector screen.
Yeah, it's like massive, takes up a whole wall.
And I know you purists are going to say, but the lag. Forget about it. You're playing Mortal Kombat on a 50. No, it's like a 100-inch.
And the lag isn't
giant.
that bad.
I mean, the true breds will talk about the lag. Jeremy and Anthony and all those big fighting game people will complain about the lag. But I know our producer's telling us we got to kind of speed through it. I think we only have 10 more minutes with you, and we want to try to hit as much content as we can.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking, dwelling on the facts too long.
So I think we're gonna go ahead and go into the biggest one. I think for a lot of people, or one of the biggest ones for
the
PS4,
PlayStation announcements.
The PS4 announcements is The Last of Us Part 2. Everybody has been waiting for this.
My God.
Game to come out for a long time. Let's go ahead and cue the clip of that real quick.
Wow. So you guys only got to see 30 seconds of this game. But if you go on right now, they have a 15-minute game or 15-minute in-game playthrough. It is amazing. Like I watched it twice. I couldn't believe how good it is, and I was showing everybody that I talked about it or talked to about it. It is great. The fighting scenes, as you guys can see, are just like super intense. The gameplay is super intense.
I think it really comes down to those fight scenes and how interactive they are and how much it feels like real. It's not just one of those games where you're shooting at people, you're kind of hacking at people. It's like they're moving around the screen, they're ducking, they're diving, they're hiding. And I just feel like, that is something really special. And I haven't seen in a lot of games, you know what I mean? The way that they're able to do that.
Well, yeah, dude, it's just amazing. And the sneaking, and then the graphics on this game, too. I mean, let's just talk about, like, real life. It just looks realistic.
But in such, like, a hyper-realistic way that just works so well.
So if you haven't played the first game, that alone is worth buying a PlayStation. It was voted one of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
The gameplay is amazing. I remember when I got my PlayStation, I had never played the game before, and I played the remastered version, and I was so hooked. You basically, to sum it up for you guys who don't know about the game, for all you Xbox fans out there who may not have played it because it is a PlayStation exclusive, you basically are in an apocalyptic world where there's not really zombies. They have like a fungus infection that kind of makes them act like zombies in a sense. The girl, I'm drawing a blank on her name, and it's bothering me because I was trying to think about it. You guys know, you may know out there. I know I should know this. The main character. I know I should know her name. It's gonna bother me. But anyways, she basically finds out that she gets bit by one of these like fungus zombie things, and she finds out that she's immune to being able to get sick. And she links up with a group of people who try to get her to Colorado, to this university hospital in the mountains, and you're basically going through all these parts on how to get there. So you go all across the country.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it'll be really, really interesting to see how they take the story. Because as you guys can see in the clip, if you've played the original game, she's older now. She's like a young adult. It'll be interesting to see how
they play with that.
Play with her, and then the guy that she was working with. I can't believe I'm drawing blanks on these characters. It's really gonna bother me. The main character you play in the first game, he basically what happened to him?
Yeah.
Did he die? Is he old? Did he die of old age?
Yeah.
Did he get bit? What happened? Nobody really knows. Because in the first game, he almost dies. Spoiler alert, sorry. So it'll be interesting to kind of see, how does it play out? So that one I'm really excited about. This next one, though, had people kind of scratching their heads. So the next one that we're going to show is one that I'm super excited about. Talking about actors in video games. I think during the trailer you guys will see an actor that you recognize from a specific show called The Walking Dead.
Oh wait, aren't we doing Red Dead first?
No, we're doing PlayStation exclusives. Death Stranding.
Oh yeah, you're right. Bam. See, he caught me on that.
He's ruining the anticipation.
Hey. All right, so yeah.
All right, so let's roll that clip.
Sam Porter preaches.
All right. So you guys see there,
I think a lot of people, when they saw this trailer, and I was one of them, was super confused about what the game is about.
nobody still knows.
Yeah.
No one has an idea. Matter of fact, when the trailer first came out, in 2016 is when they announced it. Everybody, I don't know if you remember, but everybody thought it was going to be a Silent Hill game.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, it's the new Silent Hill. It's going to be crazy. Hideo Kojima, who did Metal Gear Solid, he came out of retirement.
Epic game.
Oh yeah, well, Metal Gear Solid, that's another discussion for another
absolutely.
show. That you could do an entire show on. But he's an amazing, came out of retirement, announced that he was back in 2016, dropped this strange trailer, nobody knew what it was about. And for the past 3 E3s, they specifically have talked about this particular game. Now they finally, gave us a little more insight of what's going on. It looks like it has something to do with death and ghosts or spirits or whatever you want to say.
Where the
baby, it's so confusing. I don't get what that's going. Nobody knows. It'll be interesting to see. But I think the biggest thing that we see here is we have 2 famous actors, that are in the video game itself.
Yeah.
We have. I'm just drawing blanks with the names tonight. I can't think of anybody's names. But we have guy from Walking Dead, for lack of a better term. Man, that's really bad. And then we have the guy who played the villain in Casino Royale, James Bond. He's actually in it as well. So 2 well-known actors who are imposed in the game, face, and everything. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
All right, we only have a little bit of time left.
So yeah, we can just run through them real quick.
Let's run through. We got one more clip for you guys for exclusive PS4. Let's run that clip.
You?
So who doesn't want to swing around from buildings and
I think all the
web-sling
Spider-Man
around New
games
York?
have always been super fun, just like the open world.
Well, and then the graphics on this one again, coming back to it. I remember when they first had the first gameplay trailer last year. I think it was just crazy. So that'll be really interesting. So in addition to the PlayStation games and the Xbox games, there are also some non-exclusive or cross-platform, inter-platform games that'll be out for both systems. So the first one we're going to talk about is Battlefield 5.
I think, I'll be honest, I'm going to dive into this real quick. I know we got to end the show soon, but Battlefield was one of my first addictive games.
I love Battlefield.
Battlefield 1942 made me build my first custom PC rig. I had a whole clan. We were super dedicated. I was such a nerd and went to so many LAN parties for Battlefield 1942, Battlefield Vietnam, flying those choppers. I just love the open world format of that game.
Yeah.
I love being able to dive into vehicles,
now
huge maps.
You play 30 on 30.
And you really
32
feel
on 32.
the chaos in them. Let's roll the trailer of that real quick, and then we'll jump into the next one.
So yeah, so that I'm super excited about. So they dropped that trailer right before E3, and people were like, "Oh, it looks too cartoonish. It kind of reminds me of Fortnite. It's not realistic." I mean, one of the most ridiculous things I heard was people were mad that there was a female infantry soldier.
That's wild.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
Well, like girls don't game too. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Like, why shouldn't it be inclusive? Like, that's crazy to me. So I'm excited about it. I want to play as some like badass female character. I think that's awesome. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited about that. It kind of changes the direction of the company. I think it's awesome. You know, you're going to be able to customize your soldiers. You know, the graphics look insane to me. The colors are more vibrant, so maybe that's why it looks cartoonish.
Yeah.
I don't know. World War II this time.
I think it's a cool pivot for the company. You know,
I think so too. So next one we're going to talk about is Red Dead Redemption. Let's go and cue that clip.
Listen to me. We don't want to kill any of you. But trust me, we will. Wake them up a little! This whole thing is pretty much done. We're more ghosts than people.
I mean, Red Dead Redemption is obviously an amazing game for anybody out there who's played it. I love the open format.
Well, especially if you're a Grand Theft Auto fan.
Yeah,
I mean,
the open
Rockstar
world,
Games is the one who's the studio that's making the game.
They do such great storytelling with everything.
God, it's great. This is going to be 1899, so right before the turn of the 21st century or 20th century. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be interesting to see, you know, the whole gameplay is how, you know, America's becoming industrialized, becoming a more sophisticated nation, but the West is still wild. You know,
I think it's a great time for them to release it too now with all the hype around Westworld. I think that it really makes a lot of sense. So we only have a little bit of time now. We're going to go into, I think, one of the most anticipated games.
The most anticipated game, probably.
I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you guys. We have the trailer ready for you. Kingdom Hearts. I mean, so many people here. I know Natty, the TD on this show, is like a huge fan of that show. My brother was a huge fan of that show. Who doesn't love being able to play all these different Disney characters?
And honestly, if you look again, when you guys see the trailer, you're going to notice familiar faces.
Yeah.
They got Johnny Depp to star in the video game.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. It's crazy. So it'll be interesting to kind of see. So let's go ahead and roll Kingdom Hearts 3. Super anticipated.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Why are you so happy?
'Cause we get to be pirates again.
Yep, you always did like this world.
Still, it's a real shame we don't have a bigger ship.
Wow. Like, how many different franchises, too, that Disney has to be able to make this game go on is like, I'm really excited to see what they do with it. You see a bunch of other familiar parts of the other Kingdom Hearts games in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of new content. It should be amazing. I'm excited to see that.
I mean, who doesn't want to play through, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean, Toy Story, like all these cool things. And then again, you know, the you know, I keep saying it over and over, but just amazed by the graphic content in these games, man. It's just crazy. I mean, this is going to be one that I think, obviously, you know, if you guys don't know, Grand Theft Auto 5 is the highest selling video game of all time.
Yeah.
The anticipation for this kind of reminds me of the anticipation for that when they announced that.
I'm curious to see what the numbers look
like
for
my
that
God,
when it comes out.
It's going to be crazy.
It's good that it's non-exclusive. I would be curious how you guys also feel about, you know, maybe us doing some live gameplay on this show, maybe some playthrough. Now, we ran out of time, but I didn't want to ignore it. I don't think we're going to have time to cue the clips. But we have a couple games that are super anticipated for the Nintendo Switch. I know you guys really enjoyed our Nintendo Switch episode. I think it's our highest viewed video on YouTube right now.
We wanted to talk about it, but I rambled on about the PlayStation and Xbox exclusives.
And you know, no offense, you know, I feel like, you know, both of us are a little bit more familiar with those consoles. I'm a really big fan of what the Switch has done.
Yeah.
And I think it's a real big comeback for the Nintendo franchise.
Stuff it's done for education, you know, the building options. I think it's great.
It's going to be great. So the games we have to look forward to is the Ultimate Super Smash Brothers. Super Smash Brothers is obviously a phenomenal franchise. I think it's one of those games that, you know, still you see at competitions today. We've had a couple Super Smash Brothers competitions here. I mean, an amazing game, and I'm pretty sure what they had said is it's going to have the most characters of any other Super Smash game. So I think I'm really curious to see how they do that and how they utilize the Switch to be able to have that game play. The next one I think is like one for everybody. It's like for the whole family.
So cool.
How many like girlfriends I've played this with, how many family members I've played with. Super Mario Party Switch. I mean, that's
Looks
just
great.
a game, and then they're going to utilize the Switch. You were showing me videos before the show started of utilizing 2 Switches together to be able to play with.
So basically you can sit them on the table, and then the controllers become that, so you don't even need a TV to play with. You can essentially sit in like a a circular table with your friends, put it right in the middle.
Bring it back to almost like a board game style with family, which is what that game
it's great.
was for me. It was like
it's
something
great.
that I could play at a party and it still be social. Bring it out with family members, play with somebody who's not as savvy of a gamer,
That's
grandma,
right.
whatever, and they still enjoy it. And then I think one of the funnier ones that both of us were talking about is Fortnite finally coming to the Switch. I think that it feels very Switch-esque, I'll be honest. Just the way that it's animated, the gameplay, all of that feels like it works really well for that demographic. So I think
Well, Fortnite's obviously huge, and I think this was, Nintendo. I don't know if it was Nintendo. I don't know if it was Epic Games who makes Fortnite. I don't know who it was, but somebody was dragging their feet on this. I mean, Fortnite's the largest game in the world right now. There's all these competitions going on. That's another episode we could talk about for another episode. But I mean, Epic was just genius by making it free. It's amazing. It's kind of amazing that it took this long for it to come out for the Switch. When it's already on the iPhone, it's already out on Android, PlayStation, Xbox, computer. I mean, kind of late in my opinion. We'll have to see how it does on the Switch.
Yeah. So I'm super stoked on this. Again, thanks to Team 1UP and then Pat for holding this show down for me. Usually I'm behind the scenes on this show. Thank you for Josh, StatikLink, for coming on, being pal, coming on and talking about all these games.
I love talking about video games, so I'm down.
We might be back to our original format unless we get a crazy amount of views, and me and you might just take over this show.
Become the stars of the show. If you guys like some random dudes who know basic video game knowledge, hit the like button, and we'll be back.
So again, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Hit the little notification icon if you want to hear every single time that we go live on this channel. I think we might be switching over. Right now we're going live on Facebook. I think we might switch over to going live on YouTube if it's something that you guys would want from us. Make sure you check out the new show that me and Josh are working on. Josh and I are working on Culture Cut TV. We're going to be talking about music, some of the biggest music and music videos that inspire the artists around us in New York City. And it's something that's really important to me and really important to Josh. So I think you guys should definitely check that out.
It's going to be great.
Again, this week we have Takeover review happening tomorrow, and then we have the movie club. I think we're going to have some, I keep saying a bunch, but I think we're going to have Max come on board for this one. We're going to be doing The Incredibles, which is another highly anticipated movie that's coming out. Make sure you guys, again, like, share, and subscribe. This is PCP, Pop Culture Preservation, and we're out. Much love.